Yo, what's good, y'all? Today we got a new JJK chapter. This was a flashback chapter for Higuruma Hiroshi. Now I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna bounce around a little bit in this review, considering it's very dialogue heavy. I'm just gonna shorten up some of the examples I want to use, references through certain panels and all that, because I'm not gonna sit up here and just pretty much read the whole damn thing to y'all, because y'all ain't nobody trying to hear that. Like, come on now, like we already read the chapter. Like we don't need no whole reread through. So y'all already know what's about to happen. So without wasting any time, let's get to the video. So this entire chapter, we got a good look into how law works in Japan and some stats that kind of correspond with that, with the JJK story of the conviction rate in Japan being 99.9%, which is kind of crazy and kind of wild for JJK. And Higuruma is, he's helping with this case on the prosecuted OE or OE, I don't know how to pronounce that, but we're just gonna call him Kita, because he's been found the culprit for this murder of a young girl and her mother. And he was arrested on the spot after he ran away from questioning, and they found a bloodstained knife in his home. And Kita is pleading that he's not guilty and that he had nothing to do with it. Now, this whole conviction rate being 99.9%, I say it's kind of wild, because that's pretty much saying everybody who's been, looked at as possibly being guilty or not guilty for the crime they possibly committed has been more than likely guilty nearly 100% of the time. And I can probably guess that, being a lawyer and knowing that, I don't see, here's the thing, like, I'm not as knowledgeable when it comes to like law and like that type of stuff, especially in other states or other countries, I should say. But I would think as a lawyer, that's kind of demoralizing that every defendant that you're trying to get as a non-guilty client, it's more than likely going to be that he or she is guilty. I mean, I would think that has to suck, because it's like, what's the point of going to law school and those other stuff if I know the exact solution that's going to come out of this? So I'm just going to assume that this has to suck. And Higuruma, he comes off as a person who clearly he wants to figure out why, or he's just questioning why everything is always guilty and 99.9% and all that. And his coworker doesn't like that he took this case, because it's looking like this dude, he's obviously guilty. But Higuruma said, I'll get rusty if I just keep taking easy cases. Higuruma doesn't view himself as someone who's helping the weak. He's really trying to open his eyes to all of it. And he wants to keep his eyes open for just once, that he can have a not guilty like verdict through and through. And he talks about how his clients are always angry at him, the families that's acquainted with the client and all this other stuff. And the Higuruma, you can tell it's getting to him. His coworkers constantly asking him if he's well, if he's doing good mentally and all this other stuff. And Higuruma himself, he always, in like most of these panels, he looks stressed, he looks just kind of defeated. And I think that kind of exemplifies his character or his personality right now, that he doesn't exactly seem like the most ambitious guy right now. He just wants to, it's almost like he's just like, there's no point into all of this if I know that my client is going to be guilty regardless. And even taking this case, you could tell that he probably knew that this guy probably did murder this girl and this mother, but he just wanted to see, and possibly there has to be a chance that maybe for once there could be someone who is actually found not guilty. There has to be some good in this world. And that's probably also some of his thought process going through this, because it's kind of like, damn, like what happened to where it got to the point where it feels like there's no innocent people, there's no righteous people anymore. That's probably how he's feeling. And I mean, that's just kind of sad looking at it, because it's kind of like, what's the point of me doing this job if there's nothing good that really comes out of this? And so this dude Kita, they go through the first trial. He says he's not guilty for the first trial. Things are looking pretty up, even though Higuruma, literally after they say he's found not guilty, he says the second trial though is probably what's going to be, that's the big one. And he's already knowing that everybody thinks this dude is guilty. There's even like these like newspaper like articles where they're saying that there might be a bribe. And then there's actually on social media, because you see the at signs, and you see, I guess, like the emojis, how people are talking about this through social media, and how they know it's probably a bribe, the judiciary is dead, the prosecutor is useless, and like all this other stuff, equality judgment, as long as you have money, even a murderer can be acquitted. And he sees all this, and he probably does believe that this is true to some extent. So I mean, that's just hard to take in and hard to kind of just come to the realization of. So in the second trial, it is commencing. Kite has a nervous and almost an anger like look toward Higuruma because he knows he's going to be found guilty. The defendant is found guilty, as we know, and they say please submit a petition within 15 days, including today, if you want to go against it. And Higuruma, he slams his own Judge Mallet down and tells everyone to come back. We're having a retrial. And this almost stand-like being, like from JoJo's, pops up behind them with stitched eyes and scales for hands, kind of like, you know how they weigh scales and like think of like your grocery store, those type of scales for fruits. And it reminds me of like a hollow from Bleach in terms of its body. It has like that white Max face. It very much reminded me of something from like Wakamundo. But if I had to guess, this is a Shikigami awakening for Higuruma, similar to how Junpei awakened his when he was at, I would say, his lowest state of mind, but it's more so where he was questioning things. Like Junpei really was his Shikigami began to awaken kind of when he started to really question a lot of things. That's probably what happened here with Higuruma and this Shikigami. And this chapter ends right there with, you know, him holding up the mallet saying we're going to have a retrial right now. And now let's get to like these end thoughts or like my predictions for the next chapter, just things I want to see happen towards the future of the manga. I gotta say, I'm still guessing this has to be like a Shikigami, because I mean I'm pretty sure there's no type of stands in JJK, but this Shikigami, I mean, this looks very just morbid and kind of creepy. It looks as if this thing could tip, I don't know, like, because we see scales, we see Judgment. I believe there was a reference to like a goddess, and if you think back to like that mythology, like Greek god picture, if you find the images of it, of a woman holding up these scale and two scales, those are the things that came to mind and was probably referenced in this chapter. And I'm all for this. Higuruma, his Shikigami looks interesting. I wonder how the Shikigami's gonna like coincide with his character, because a lot of Shikigami kind of go hand in hand with that person's more so mental state at the moment. And Higuruma, I'm a fan of like this whole law judge, the deciding fate instantly type vibe that this is giving off. And this is pretty much embodies like half of what JJK is about, you know, what is going for. And I found it very interesting that after we have all this Hikari stuff and how he kind of wants to go against the whole Jujutsu law, probably change it a little bit, you know, in his favor and in like the sorcerer's favor, we go right into a law legit character like Higuruma, and we go and we in the courtroom and all this other stuff. And it's gonna be interesting. I think Hikari is probably gonna play a big factor with him, because I can see both of them kind of going back and forth with their ideologies. That's what I really want to see Higuruma. I want to see his ideology tested right now. I want to see where his mental state is going, because I mean, if I had to guess, I mean, he has 100 points in the culling game right now, and I don't know if he's one of the resurrected people from Sukuna. I doubt he hasn't come off like he is, but I mean, this dude clearly had to, like, they say it was a cursed courtroom is at hand or about to begin. I mean, this dude clearly had to like murder everyone in this damn room. There is no doubt in my mind that he did something similar to that he has 100 points, and he's got like 102 to be exact, and he's apparently not looking to change any rules or anything like that. I don't think he really cares. He doesn't seem like the type that would try to do it. Man, it's interesting to see where this is gonna go and who's going to interact with him. Well, we know the squad is going to interact with him, and I'm guessing going to fight him. Probably not next chapter, maybe like another chapter or two afterwards. But I enjoyed this world building, this society building of kind of outside of sorcery, because all this had nothing to do with like cursed energy, sorcerers, all that up until obviously the end with this weird ass Shikigami. But this is I like this. This is and we kind of kept this theme because Hikari also had kind of like a lot of outside of Jujutsu law type stuff going on, you know, and how like his whole thing with fever and all this stuff. I'm really liking that. It's adding more layers to the Jujutsu world outside and inside of it. And I can only imagine where we're gonna go from after here. It says in the little like preview that Ryuji's gonna be encountering someone. He's gonna be possibly fighting someone in the next chapter. So I mean, I'm all down for some action, you know, here and there. I wonder who they're gonna face. If it's either one of these two immediately, I'm already ready for it. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to wait like maybe 161 to get to like meeting either one of these two. I'm looking forward to see what the hell this Shikigami can actually do. And please, I need one of these things, moves or abilities to be called Judgment Day. That is too raw, too good to not pass up. This is literally the perfect chance to have a cheesy line, but a dope ass line at the same time, with having a move called Judgment Day or a line called Judgment Day. Come on, now it's literally written right there. We need that. But that's all I can think of right now. It was a pretty damn good chapter. I like the exposition that we got. And let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Leave me a like, obviously, if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more content coming this way. You know I do these chapter reviews every week. I got a Mega Me character little video coming up in about a couple days. Look forward to that. And I got another What If Tokyo Avengers had a game video coming. I kind of revamped that so I can make it more presentable, and looking forward to see how that does. So I hope y'all enjoy, and I'll holler at y'all on the next one.